Why is it that some people seem to pick things up so quickly, like a new instrument, a new sport, a new skill at work, while other people grind away and barely improve? We usually chalk it up to talent, or maybe because they're practicing more or better. But scientists have identified a factor that may play a huge role in how fast you learn, and most people ignore it entirely. It has nothing to do with how many hours you put in. So, researchers at the University of Adelaide ran an experiment. They took two groups of healthy young adults. One of the groups was physically active, exercising for a couple of hours several times per week. And the other group was sedentary, less than 20 minutes of exercise a day, three or fewer times per week. And then they used a technique designed to force the brain to rewire. They sent an electrical pulse to the wrist, followed 25 milliseconds later by a magnetic pulse to the motor cortex, in time so that both signals arrived at the same neurons simultaneously. And this exploits a fundamental rule of plasticity. Neurons that fire together wire together. So, this protocol is essentially a stress test for your brain's ability to rewire itself, which again is required to learn anything. And in the physically active group, the brain's response increased by 54%. The protocol worked and their brains rewired on command. But in the sedentary group, almost nothing happened. The brain did not rewire. So, same protocol, same stimulation, same age, but the sedentary brains barely responded. They were resistant to rewiring, which means they were resistant to learning. And this isn't a marginal difference in learning speed. This suggests that without regular physical activity, the brain's fundamental capacity for change may be compromised. The explanation likely involves a molecule called BDNF, or brain derived neurotrophic factor. It's a protein that supports the growth and maintenance of synaptic connections. And without adequate BDNF, the machinery that enables learning doesn't function properly. And we know that exercise elevates BDNF. Sedentary behavior lets it decline. And over time, this may be the difference between a brain that adapts readily and one that resists change. And since most adults today are closer to the sedentary group than the active one, many of us are trying to learn new things with brains that are biologically resistant to the changes that we're asking them to make. So don't make the mistake of thinking that movement is a break from learning. It is a biological requirement for it.